Okay, so now that we finally got like the base diameter done, now we can really get started with everything. So, first things first is something I noticed last time is that I just need to move this up a little bit over here so that it actually matches. And it does mean that if we go to our left view, that we might want to just like increase this a bit. And I don't know, maybe scale up. Let's see, let's scale up this line over here. I'm gonna go more for like just an even look, not of like not so much the distance between these two, but still that it just looks like a nice and smooth curve. I think something like that should work. The nice thing about this is that we can always change it later on if needed. Although knowing me, I will probably end up still breaking it anyway. Okay, so at this point what I will do is I will turn this into a shape because I'm just going to extrude this and then later on I'm going to attach this to this piece. But I think that it is actually easier for me to, if I'm just trying to drag this over here. Oh, there we go. I think it is easier for me if I just go ahead and extrude this out a tiny little bit and then just extrude this out completely and then we will just merge this all down. So let's go ahead and continue with that. So we are gonna go to our front view over here. Let's go ahead and just go to geometry in our line and press insert. And I'm just going to insert this. Now this will not be on the same line. So first of all, these two pieces, we need to right click, do a Bezier corner so that we can turn this flat. But I know that these, I think only this one over here, as you can see, it is not straight. And this is because we accidentally or not accidentally, we on purpose moved this line. But that does mean that we just need to like kind of move this back again. There we go. Okay, so at this point, all you need to do really is just like a quick extrude, like you can see over here. And we of course need to just go ahead and like taper this down at that point. So if I have a look at my reference, actually it looks like that it doesn't taper down. It looks like that this one just kind of like ends at this point. And this one is the one that tapers down that far. If we go to press Alt X, yeah, see here. So this one is the one that tapers down that far. So if that is the case, and this is already at the correct height, then what I would do is I would probably go ahead and move this a little bit back, increase my extrude, and already just have like the tapering down here, and then move it like this, and then I will just insert it. So instead of extruding, I'm going to insert it later on. I am also going to go ahead and go into my line, and if we just go ahead and turn on show end result, just tone down your steps. Because right now, if we have too many steps, it just becomes more difficult to handle. So let's set this down to around 7. Now, one thing I'm not happy with is that I want this to actually be a little bit bigger, because I need to have like a larger shape sitting around here. So I'm just gonna use my line, and I'm probably gonna go ahead and I'm going to move this up a little bit. Move this out a little bit. So yeah, sometimes I just change plans because you never know what will work best. So I'm just scaling this up so that I can get quite an even shape over here. And depending on how accurate you want to be, what you can do if you want, is you can just use a quick line like this. And you can actually use this as like a little bit of like a measuring line. And you can place it like in a few locations over here, up until the point where you know that things are going to change. Like, well, actually around this point things are already going to change. But it's just like a handy way for you to like move this, for example, back a little bit. And then at this point it is already changing. So I'm not actually going to bother with that one. But it's just something that I tend to do. Like if I don't want to do like weird measurements, I tend to just use that. Okay, so I'm quite happy with this. We got that one done. I'm going to hide selection on this cube. I don't care about that one right now. All I want to do is I want to go into my line. Oh, damn. I need to go to my... I accidentally moved it. Right view, no front view, right? Yes, front view. Okay, if I go into my line. Now, what will most likely happen is we most likely are not able to give it a flow like this. And the reason for this is because our line just doesn't have these segments. Well, maybe it does. Nah, you know what? I'm going to do this by hand. I'm going to move these by hand. I just don't trust this right now. So we got this piece. At this point, what I would do is I would just go ahead and do a very quick effect pivot only. And this time, I'm just going to turn on snapping. Make sure my snapping is set to vertices. And I'm just snapping this to like one of the ends over here. So that when I do that, I can just do a symmetry and it will still be exactly the same. There you go. So this might look a little bit silly from this side, but we are of course going to later on also insert this again and then make it just look nice. Here, so we are going to like insert this, so that should look correct. So if I have this shape, I'm now going to add an edit poly this time. And this is because I would like to keep my line intact just in case. So I'm going to add an edit poly so that I can go to vertex mode. And I can start by just moving these pieces around. Now, at this point, what I do also actually recommend you to do is to get rid of these faces over here, because they will just be in the way. Oh, and it looks like that we have not actually made this perfectly straight. We don't really need to go to a line for this. All we need to do is just do a quick drag like this and press Ctrl Backspace. Or, sorry, I mean just Backspace. I have the habit of using Ctrl Backspace, I don't know why. But basically, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move these pieces carefully and nicely out. I'm not just going to bother with over here the screw and everything. I want to do that later. I'm just going to move this one up so that all we get is we get just like this nice little shape. Actually, what you can do is you can even delete this. See? So we get this nice little shape that goes down. Now over here what we can do is we can insert it. And for the insert I'm going to need... I need to be careful about this. Let's go to our side view, because I'm seeing something wrong over here. I'm not sure where is this. Oh, that's why it looks like that. I'm guessing if I do this that it will clip. Oh no, that actually looks good. Let's do that. Let's move this down. So you kind of like want to keep your shapes quite simplistic. So your geometry amounts, like you want to keep them quite simplistic. And then you can always later on just add more geometry if needed. But in this case, if you add too much geometry, it just becomes hard to handle. So over here, I'm just trying to like nicely keep the flow in, like that. And once you're happy with it, what you can do is you can select these two edges and bridge them. And the only reason why you bridge them is so that you can select an entire loop around here. And with this loop, what you can do is you can just go ahead and you can extrude this. Do extrude settings and then move this inwards. So we are extruding this. How far? Where are you? Just above the ring. So if we go over here, I want to extrude this in just above the ring. Something like this. Okay, and then press OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and... Let's see, I'm going to extrude this again, but at this point our cube will take over. So we do need to keep in mind that we are going to merge this down. So for now, just extrude this again. This time just extrude this out, like around here. There we go. And what I will do at this point is I just press this button down here to isolate it. I'm going to get rid of this symmetry line here at the top by pressing Ctrl Backspace. And I'm just going to select this border, deselect these two lines and just press bridge, which will just quickly place a face here. And basically the reason that I'm doing this is because I first of all need to go in and I need to actually properly measure this. So we are a little bit off in certain locations, which we will need to fix. Those locations are mostly going to be like around... here around this point, which I don't really like. We can fix it over there, but I first want to just unhide all, because basically I need to make sure that this is all fitted together. That is the important thing. So these pieces and these ones over here actually can go a little bit smoother. Oh, it looks like that we have a double vertex. If you have a double vertex like this, what I recommend is to just press Ctrl A in vertex mode to select everything. Go down here to weld settings. and then just set this to 0.01. As you can see, it will just weld everything that is super close together. Now another thing that I want to say is that right now things are going a little bit slow, I know that, but this will not be for the entire tutorial. I will ramp things up later on, but for now I would like to start off slow to just keep everything going. So here, I make this nice and smooth like this. I know that these pieces are going to be merged together. And then we have this piece over here. I think the best thing to do is actually merge it inside of Max instead of ZBrush, which we will be using later on. So the only thing now that I need to fix, now that I have this shape, is I need to fix this edge over here. And you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm simply going to go ahead and I'm doing it this way. Go to Edit Poly. Go with Face Select. Delete this one over here. So that's when we go to Symmetry. We can just merge this together. Oh, I guess that I can just do that now. So here, if I select this one, and this face, I can just go ahead and do a Shift E and then merge this together. See? There we go. So we will have that thing going down there. And then what we will get later on is we will get this shape sitting here. So I'm not too worried about that. And I think in our case, that this will be a little bit better here. Yeah, see? So that will probably look a lot better. Okay, so we got that piece sitting down there, which is merged together. Now that means that all I really need to do is I need to make sure that this is all nicely following each other. Yes, because over here, so this one we want to keep the same, but I believe that this one we actually need to follow along with the shape. I'm going to do that to make sure. I'm just looking at my reference. I should show my reference a little bit. Yes, so here. So this is following the entire shape up until this point, and then it just transitions into our cube. So if we do the same thing, if we simply select this and move it forward so that it can follow the shape, then it will transition into the cube. Now this one is a bit trickier. I honestly hate this part of the gun, just because it's so many things can go wrong with it. So let's say that we have this piece. Now if we do an unhide all, now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and, can I just Alt X this version over here? We need to make sure that this smoothly ends at this point over here. So what I will do is I will go ahead and I will move this closer over here. Merge this together, and we probably, because we do not have symmetry turned on right now, probably need to do that also over here and over here. And another annoying thing is that I cannot with X-ray mode properly see what I'm doing. So I need to go in here. I need to add another segment in here. Where are you? There we go. And we just need to kind of like merge this all together. Let's see. So because this looks a little bit messy, so we want to merge this down. We need to add like a quick segment here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go into isolation mode, because I think what's throwing me off is these faces over here. Let's delete them so that now we can properly move this. And if we just go to our side view, just grab both of these and just set them to a see-through material. Yeah, this is like, I know it's quite tricky to see. Yeah, I'm actually going to. Oh no, you know what? I'm not going to move that. I know it's quite tricky to see. So we kind of like need to do it out of our head. But if we, let's see, if we move this over here. Yeah, I need to move it here. I think I need to just add a quick swift loop down here. So swift loop will just add a very quick line. So if we just add a quick swift loop down here. And then merge this down. Now we should be able to carefully transition this into our cube, and then what we will do is we will merge this together. That does mean that this one over here, because that's the tricky thing here. We need to merge these both together, but it does not need to look like it's just completely breaking down. So if we do a swift loop over here so that this is also merged together, and we give this like a soft flow off like this, so it's merging together in here. The only thing that I'm worried about is that I have a feeling that there's still height at this point. See, there is still height going on at this point, so I feel like it is merging down at like a steeper angle here. If I go select this one, go to my side view. Yeah, I feel like we need to keep this. I feel like we need to keep this and merge it like this. And then still have these ones like flow off a little bit smoother. But I think that is the only thing that we can really do. And then later on we will cut around. So we will merge this together. This one is fine. It might look silly, but once we have the high poly, this will look nice and smooth. So for now, all you need to do is just create like a nice transition so that it goes from over here and around there. I might actually end up doing a symmetry on this, because at this point I just want to focus on one side. So I'm going to do a symmetry on this, but we nicely like flow it down here, then it flows into here, and then this piece will just be merged into it. That looks good. And I can understand that sometimes it's a bit tricky to see the bigger picture. So yeah, at that point I would say just trust me. Like this might look really bad, and it doesn't look good also, but it is part of a plan. And that plan is to just get like a smooth, just a smooth high poly later on. I'm not happy with that. Maybe we need to just merge this already over here at this point. So I'm now just playing around with my thickness amounts, as you can see, just to make sure that everything looks good. Like this looks great. Everything that we have up here looks great. The only thing that I'm not yet happy about is the way that the transitions work over here. Like I want them to be a little bit softer and flowing down a little bit more. But I think we got it. I think this is good. So having this piece, what I'm going to do is, looks like that it's already in the center, so I will just let's at this point just convert this to an add poly and re-add my symmetry. I think we need to flip this around. Let's see. No, we do not need to flip this. There we go. So now we have our symmetry over there. So now what we're going to do is we're simply going to turn this into one chunk along with this piece over here. So I'm grabbing this piece. I'm moving this back over here. And I'm going to add a swift loop down here. A swift loop down here. And this one is already being merged together. So the goal is to grab these two pieces and turn them into one piece. Now for this, the way that we can do that is we can simply select these shapes over here and delete them. Now if we're just going to go ahead and grab this piece, press attach and just attach like the top bit over here. And now what we can do is we can simply select these vertices and collapse them together. Collapse these together. These and these. And if you are having trouble just like getting a sense of what is going on with everything, one thing that I advise is just think about it. It's all just points that you place into location. It might take a long time to get them to that location, but in the end it's simply just moving points around. And having that mentality is quite good in case you get a little bit of stress on how everything is looking. So here I'm just moving these points in location. Now what I can say is I need everything to be smooth, so I can just have these two down here and bridge them. Which means that I now can go to border select this border and cap it. And that's what I was talking about. That this has some height to it. I think it might be more sensible to show you on this side. So here I'm doing the exact same thing. So you can see that this has still some height to it, and then it's just softly flows over. And once we are in ZBrush, we can make sure that this is really nicely and softly flown over. And the only thing that I don't like is this point over here. I need to select these two vertices, scale them down, select these two. Let's see. Let's go to our top view. Maybe that looks a bit nicer, because right now, here, select these a bit. Yeah, I get that we need to have it like a little bit at an angle. I just want to make sure that when I look at it, my front view, it just feels like a smooth piece. And when I look at my side view, it feels like it's just like a smooth flow. And then of course later on, once you like art it, okay, I can show you now. But once we would add like our smoothing to this will look very nice. There we go. So we have like a nice soft flow. One last check at my side view. What are these two? These are, let me guess, these are our straight pieces over here. Okay, so if those are straight pieces, then that should be fine. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this back face over here. And at this point, I'm just going to go to my side view up here. Let's do Alt-X. Let's make sure that this one is all the way around the back here. And then what we are going to do is we are going to later on extrude this down. But we still need to do quite a bit of stuff also over here, which I will work on also. Just double check your transition. Because as you can see over here, I don't know how I managed to do this, but it's pushed back again. Oh, because I literally just did that. That is silly of me. Sorry about that. I wasn't. That's the thing when you are in isolation mode. Something that actually makes sense in context that just feels like it doesn't. So I'm just going to experiment what it looks like if I actually make these go a little bit closer to the side like this, to see if that looks nicer or not. I also want to just go ahead, because if I just have a look, is there maybe like a different view? Oh, let's see, different view. Yeah, I just need to find something where I can, here. Okay, so this line is very close to the edge, so I feel like that we kind of like need to abide by that. So we want to keep it this close to the edge. So whenever we have like an edge like this, let's just select the edge, not the vertex. Let's select the entire edge and just move this closer. Now for these edges, I accidentally already moved them, so I just need to do this by hand, because else it doesn't look particularly good. But I'm not too worried about this. Let's go to my side view. See if I can just like salvage this a little bit more. And then at this point, we need to make a compromise, because it's somewhere along this line, it just has to like flow over nicely. So if we go to like our side view over here, this just has to flow over. You can't really get around that, but you can move this along here as like a low poly, and then have it like very thin, and then have it just transition in here, which is great. That's looking really good. So we can do the same over here. Oh, I need to stick to my own rules. There we go. This one is the only one that we also like need to do some quite specific moving. And let's see, so at this point, this one goes a little bit thinner. There we go. And then it just kind of like flows off into the edge. Okay, great. Now, this will all make sense later on when we turn this into our high poly. So for now, having this piece done, I want to go ahead and I want to get started on just working probably on like this backside over here. So if I go ahead and set this to this point, so we already placed an edge here and an edge here. So what I'm going to do is we need to basically just create like a profile that goes from here to here so that we can cut that out. You probably guessed how we are going to do that. We're simply going to add a line, and we're going to have this line from here to here, and then just click and drag. And I know it's not going to be a perfect semicircle, which actually makes it a little bit annoying, but it should be fine. So just try to get it very close to this edge. Right click, Bezier corner. Here, so let's rotate this. Let's see, let's move this a bit back over here. I think that should do the trick. So if we now just go ahead and just do like an insert. Can't even see what I'm doing thanks to the white background, but okay. Select these two pieces and move them over here. Select this one, right click, Bezier corner. And for this one, I'm also just gonna go ahead and I just need to move this straight. This is just me closing off the splines, so that I actually have something to do. These two, just go ahead and press fuse and then press weld. And that will turn them into one little spline. At which point we can unhide all. We can go ahead and set a solid material back to this one. And I can go ahead and I can move here. Throw on a quick extrude. Double check my segments if I like need more or less. 7, 8. Let's set it to interpolation of 10. And we are simply going to extrude this. And once we've done that, we can simply select this. Plus, compound objects, pro boolean, advanced options, remove only visible. And there we go. See? Easy does it. Quick cut. Now, what we're going to do next is we are going, or in next chapter, is we are simply going to go ahead and extrude this cut down. And just turn it into like a nice little bevel. And if I just have a look over here, it looks like, so this is actually a little bump. I don't know if I can show you that. So it might, so don't make it throw you off. I don't think I have an actual. Here, see, it's like a little bump over here. We're going to do this a little bit different, but just have a quick look at this area, and that's what we're going to work on in the next chapter. But for now, we are going to clean this up later on and fix that.